program you're about to see is being brought to you by the Rhode Island Higher Education Cable Television Council, of which I'm chairman. It is also being brought to you by this local cable company. It'll be an example of a variety of programming topics that the colleges and universities in Rhode Island have put together for the general public. Areas of programming will include educational aspects, cultural events, and public service programs. We think you'll enjoy this program option and urge you strongly to take advantage of it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is David Snodgrass. I'm a member of the journalism department at the University of Rhode Island, and I'm here to describe a little bit about the program that you are about to see. It is entitled Q&A, which is short for questions and answers, and it is considered in that genre of program known as public affairs. But we feel that it's public affairs with a difference. Number one, it deals with issues that are of pertinence to the Rhode Island area. And number two, unlike commercial television, whose public affairs programs quite often have to deal with problems that are ascertained as important to the community of the station, this particular program won't be within that particular constraint. Therefore, we will have more latitude, more freedom in choosing topics. This is not to say that we're going to totally ignore our audience, but we will give them opportunities to explore ideas that they might not have been able to explore in alternative media. And now I hope that you enjoy the first installment of Q&A. Journalism department at the University of Rhode Island, and this is Q&A, questions and answers. Education. It's becoming a controversial subject again. It's becoming a political item. In fact, it could very well be one of the crucial aspects of the next presidential campaign, the quality of education in this country. Is it declining? Is there a crisis in education? It's been in the newspapers, it's been in magazines, and it's our subject tonight. Education in general, and a particular aspect of education, and that is writing and speaking in particular.
Hello, I'm Walter Gray, and I am Director of the Marine Advisory Service at the University of Rhode Island. We're here today at the Narragansett Bay campus of the university to talk about a couple of the programs that have applications to the Rhode Island economy. The Sea Grant program was begun in 1968 with the initiative of Senator Pell. It was set up as a program that paralleled the land grant program that had been in effect in state universities since 1862. Sea Grant program essentially means that research, education, and advisory programs are conducted by state universities for the betterment of the marine community. And when we talk about the betterment of the marine community, we're talking not only the economic improvement, but the environmental, social, and other as well. In our Sea Grant advisory program here at the Bay campus, one of the activities that has great ramifications as far as the fishing industry of the state is concerned is a tow tank that has been developed by the Marine Advisory Program in cooperation with the Ocean Engineering Department of the university. The tow tank is a 100 by 12 foot by 6 foot deep facility located in the Ocean Engineering building here at the Bay campus, and it provides us an opportunity to test model trawls built at 1 to 10 scale so that fishing people, skippers of fishing boats, can come in, have model nets constructed, and view them in the tow tank in actual operation in a freshwater tank being towed by a trolley. This is the only opportunity that fishing skippers in this region have to visually observe their trawls in operation.
The model trawl you see here has now been built in full scale and has been extensively tested in Narragansett Bay and the local fishing grounds. The reason for this trawl development as such is to improve the fishermen's efforts at efficiency. The trawl is low drag, high opening, wide opening, should increase the catch for less fuel spent or burnt.
Welcome to Chef's Choice, an adventure in cooking with the professional chefs from the Culinary Arts Division at Johnson & Wales College. Your host is John Bowen, Director of Operations for the Culinary Arts Division, a certified culinary educator and professional consultant to the food service industry.
With a little help, we should produce some nice items for you today. The first thing I'd like to produce is a souffle grand manière, and we're going to start off by melting some butter. Souffle should rise approximately 2 inches over the top of the dish. If we place the souffle directly in the dish and cook it, we're probably going to find that as it rises, the souffle will fall over the sides and we might have a large mess in the oven. So we're going to help it a little bit by preparing the dish.
Chef, if our viewers did not have a souffle dish, could they use this in a bowl, that has a glass bowl that they could use perhaps? You could bake within the oven?
It has to be oven-proof.
Perhaps you might like to show the viewers the finished product.
Deviled eggs and the egg mayonnaise, as you can see. Quite a nice contrast of different egg dishes. Very, very inexpensive to put together. And our end product is souffle.
Excellent.
You can
That
see our
came out beautiful.
souffle.
Gorgeous
Beautiful.
presentation. Very, very nice. Thank you very much, Chef. We really
Okay.
enjoyed it, and let's eat.
Call again.
Thank you.
For a copy of today's recipe, send a stamped self-addressed envelope to Chef's Choice, Johnson & Wales College, Abbott Park Place, Providence, Rhode Island, 02903.
My name is John Bucci. I'm Assistant Dean of the School of Continuing Education and Community Service at Rhode Island College and Director of Rhode Island College's Distance Learning Program. Rhode Island College has been trying to provide access to the college to as many students throughout the state as possible. Some students have not been able to get to the college campus, and Rhode Island College looked for a program that would provide them with college experiences that would not require them to attend classes. Rhode Island College identified a program called the National University Consortium. This is a program which combines a variety of colleges and universities' efforts throughout the country to identify and develop materials which can be used to help students to take courses without actually attending classes. The National University Consortium modeled its program after the British Open University, an internationally known program in the United Kingdom which provided this kind of a program to students who could not have access to the normal college work. The National University Consortium developed materials which we utilize in our distance learning program. The materials include extensive written materials, study guides, and textbooks, and are supplemented with a small number of television programs which help the student pace themselves as they study through the course. In addition, Rhode Island College has identified tutors who will work individually with the students to help them pace themselves and go through the program. These tutors are available by telephone and in person, and work quite hard and very closely with the individual students. We have had quite a large number of very successful students go through this program. I'd like to have a few of them tell you about some of their experiences.
My name's Alice Howell. I decided to go into the distant learning program because I had rheumatoid arthritis.
My name is Alexis McHugh, and I'm attending Rhode Island College, participating in the distant learning course.
And then when I became pregnant with my son, I knew I would be having extra difficulties. So the program made it easier for me to do my studies, to be able to do my studies at home.
I decided to go in the program because at the time, for medical reasons, I was pregnant. I was no longer able to drive into the college, so I looked into this program.
Hello, my name is Cecilia Russo, and I've been taking courses, distant learning courses through Rhode Island College, and I find it very convenient for me because I am handicapped. I'm paralyzed from the neck down, and it's much easier for me to do the courses at home, and I have no transportation to the school, so there's no way for me to get to the college.
I became involved around 1980 when there was a call for teachers to consider an innovative program. We heard that it had something to do with telecommunications courses, and I went with the initial team to the University of Maryland to discover and to examine what a new program would be, and became enthused with it at that particular point. And from that particular point, from November on, I've taught people in organizations and been a liaison with the faculty.
Well, I was approached by several members of the department who had worked on the course to develop it in terms of modifying it from the original Open University series. And they knew that I was interested in continuing education. And
the advantage of being a tutor in the course is that you don't give lectures. Students contact you on the basis of the assignments you give them and their questions about the material they read and additional questions that they may have about the background presentation of material.
TV shows, I think I like the ones on Greece because there was so much to learn. There was just so much that you couldn't see in the books that they could put on the screen. The mountains and the valleys.
Corinth, Athens, and Sparta all reacted to the population problem in different ways.
Beyond the textbooks, there's also a series of 9 television programs which dealt with various problems and issues in language. The most interesting of which, in my opinion, was one entitled The Written Word, which looked at the correlation between spoken language and written language.
I mean, it's not one of those things where someday I'm going to write a novel. You know, today you're going to write 750 words. No ifs, ands, or buts.
the principal influence on my writing is that I'm a journalist. I've been one for decades, and this affects all the writing I do, whether it's nonfiction or fiction, which means that I try to get to the point quickly, and that I try to make my points plain, and I try not to go on very long.
As a beginning writer, I can remember that it seemed to me possible that everything could be done simultaneously, and it would take me almost to the end of a first draft, or maybe even to the end of a second draft, before I realized that, well, the problem here is that you haven't got a sequence here, and you haven't made an order here. You've been keeping all the balls in the air at the same time, without trying to suggest which one is the really consequential one, and without really even making that decision yourself.
Although the students did not experience the same direct classroom contact that they would in a normal course on campus, there was still a great deal of support and contact provided by the college and the tutors.
I'm in contact with the professors quite often, because the questions that they ask, sometimes I need to get further information on it, how they want it set up. They don't always say how many pages of work, written work they expect. So usually, most of the time, I'm contacting them at least once a week, sometimes twice.
As Rhode Island College begins its 3rd year of the distance learning program, we can look with pride at the number of students that we've helped, and those students have had access to a college education who otherwise would not have been able to.
Last semester, the Urban Educational Center of Rhode Island College offered an appraisal of college skills program and college-level developmental courses. We found that both were extremely helpful in determining whether or not our students needed to improve the skills required when taking college-level courses. The appraisal of college skills was done in the form of diagnostic tests, which measured the students' reading, writing, and math skills. The majority of our students found it helpful to know their level of college skills. Now, the Urban Educational Center of Rhode Island College is offering the cable TV viewers an opportunity to appraise their college skills at home. Please, get some paper and a pen or a pencil. Write down these 2 tests and send them to us after you've completed them. We will appraise them and inform you of your level, and we will also indicate any courses which may be helpful to you.
I know sometimes you want to tell me you don't love me anymore. That you're really not rotten. You just act that way sometimes because you want me to leave, and that's okay. Just don't say it, please. If it could just be common knowledge, I think I could take it maybe. Sometimes you used to rat in your sleep. You'd come so easily, silence. It's so encroaching. It lives in us. A lovely unity. Remember the time I cried when I couldn't have any children and you held my hand? You were so understanding, it was frightening. And I was sick for days. Now I just choke a lot. You're going. I know it. I can see it in your breathing. And your eyes are so tense. Even when you're tired, even when you're sleeping. I can't even close mine, so I'm not one to talk, but I think that if I could close them, I think I'd melt. Or I'd float. Or I'd die.
Hello, my name is David Elliott, and I am the director of the Trinity Rep Conservatory. The show you have just seen was written by Lucinda Dohanyan, a first-year student in the program. It is one of 36 such scripts written over the course of the past year by our students. These scripts ranged in length from short one-acts to full-length plays. The Trinity Rep Conservatory is a 2-year professional training program for actors, directors, and playwrights run in conjunction with the Trinity Reparatory Company in Providence, Rhode Island. The show was directed by first-year student Sharon O'Neill and featured Barbara Mizell and George Marcinkiewicz, also first-year students.
Hello, I'm Linda Sibilia from the University of Rhode Island Cooperative Extension. The presentation you're about to see is based on the radio program Today in Health, which has run successfully in Rhode Island for several years. The format consists of 5 2.5-minute interviews with Brown and URI health professionals. Although the format is a bit unorthodox for video, we're attempting to reproduce or recreate our successful radio program for television. We're talking about hearing with Dr. Winifred Brunell, Associate Professor of Speech Communications at the University of Rhode Island, and we're standing in a hearing booth in front of an audiometer. Winnie, what types of things influence your hearing?
One of them that I guess many people are aware of is age-related hearing loss called presbycusis. It occurs, if you live long enough, to everyone, and it tends to be very gradual and affects people at different rates, but we all tend to slightly lose, and in some cases severely lose, the ability to hear.
But we won't necessarily be really hard of hearing as we age. It will just creep up on us if there's nothing else, no other severe problem.
There are sudden onsets of hearing loss, though, that can occur due to other influences.
What are those?
One can be a disease. It can be something as common as a viral infection or a bacterial infection, and can be temporary, or it can be more permanent and be due to another sort of disease influence. There are also sudden changes due to medication. If anybody has a new medication and suddenly experiences a decrease in the ability to hear, that person should call his or her physician immediately and report such a symptom.
I've heard that aspirin can cause you to lose your hearing. Is that true?
It can produce a temporary change in your ability to hear. It's medication, over-the-counter, obviously, aspirin, and people shouldn't panic about that, but if they have to take a lot of aspirin while they are taking it, their hearing ability can be reduced. But fortunately, once you go off the aspirin, your hearing returns.
What other types of things can influence what you hear or how you hear?
Well, some Other medications, such as some antibiotics, can produce permanent changes. But again, your physician will notify you, or if you find a symptom, contact him or her and find out what it means. Things like accidents, too, though. A lot of people have been in accidents either due to vehicles or maybe somebody hitting someone.
Okay. My thanks to Dr. Winifred Brunell, who has been our guest on Today in Health, and thanks to you for watching Today in Health.
Today in Health with Linda Sibelia. The program's an information service of URI and Brown's Program in Medicine.
Written comments about this program are encouraged. Please send them to the Higher Education Council, Room 314 Roberts Hall, Rhode Island College, Providence, Rhode Island, 02908.